Hey, this is Stan Harrison with Sax Tip number 2. It's kind of crazy talking about anything other than what's happening in the world today, but hopefully you're still playing your instrument and you've got to concentrate on that as well as everything else. By the way, I'm doing this because I've seen a number of people online giving saxophone lessons, seemingly not knowing what they're talking about. I don't understand it, and they're charging people. I know what it's like to be ruined by bad teaching. I know what it's like to break bad habits that seem to have taken a minute to have been acquired. Was there anything English about that statement? So easy to acquire bad habits, and it takes forever to get rid of them once you've discovered them. So that being said, I want to talk to you about this finger, the ring finger, about a discovery that I made recently. There are lines that sometimes I would have difficulty playing quickly. Would end up taking these lines and isolating small sections of them, and I would find at times that when this finger was involved, there would be a hitch in the playing. It wasn't moving in conjunction with the other fingers. There's a reason for that possibly happening, which I'll let you know, but in order to solve the problem, I started to think about the movement of that finger. I would pay attention to it while I was playing, and all of a sudden, these lines became easier to play. It all had to do with this finger, because when it's not going down with the rest of them in the right time, there'll be a leak, because your other fingers will be down, but this one might not be. So just think about this finger when you're playing. However, don't overexert this finger, okay? Because bad things can happen. You might have heard about Robert Schumann, the Romantic composer. On a timeline, he's usually situated somewhere between Franz Schubert and Johannes Brahms. Robert Schumann ended up having severe mental problems, which were caused possibly by two different things. Number one, if you put your hand down on a flat surface, you'll notice that the ring finger doesn't go back as far as the other fingers. He thought that he could solve that problem with a device that pulled his finger back. He ended up destroying his finger. He ruined his career. He ended up jumping into the Rhine River. You don't want to do that. Another reason that he could have had mental issues was because he was suffering from syphilis. So I want you to be careful about that finger, and I want you to stay away from syphilis. So stay away from syphilis. Stay away from syphilis. I don't have a lot more to say about this. You can stop listening if you want to hear the end of saxophone advice. I also want to tell you about a couple of books I just read. One is by a Portuguese writer named Fernando Pessoa. I believe that's how he pronounces his name. It's called The Book of Disquiet. Wow! It's one of the most amazing books I've ever read. I've never read anything like this. It's almost 500 pages of Fernando Pessoa speaking about his nihilistic views, about the meaninglessness of existence, that sort of thing. It's so dark, it's so bleak. It's incredible. How can you not love this guy? Yay! Especially because reading that book led me to another book. One thing that he was very unhappy with was the fact that he would never have the opportunity to read the Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens. For the first time again. He loved it so much. I started reading it. It's hysterical. Whee! You have to check this out. The Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens, as recommended by Fernando Pessoa, who wrote The Book of Disquiet. When you look at the cover of this book, by the way, whoa! How could you not want to get into it? So remember, stay away from rivers in Germany, stay away from crazy devices to help your ring finger, and stay away from syphilis. Stay tuned for another sax tip. I released a record a few months ago called Some Poor Soul Has a Fire. It's on at Hyaropa Records. It's available at Bandcamp. This is what the CD looks like. Until next time, bye.
Oh, well.